make 5, and 5 make 10, and 10 make 20. Item on the 24th, a small insinuative enema, preparative and gentle, to soften, moisten, and refresh the bowels of Mr. Argan. What I like about my apothecary, Miss Fleurant, is that her bills are always so civil. The bowels of Mr. Argan. All the same, Miss Fleurant, it is not enough to be civil. One must also be reasonable and not plunder sick people. 30 sous for an enema, when I have already told you that elsewhere you have only charged me 20 sous. And 20 sous, in the language of apothecaries, means only 10 sous. So here they are, these 10 sous. Item on the said day, a good detergent enema compounded of double catholic and rhubarb, honey of roses, and other ingredients according to the prescription to scour, work, and clear the bowels of Mr. Argan, 30 sous. With your leave, 10 sous. Item on the said day, in the evening, a julep hepatic, sedative, and calming, intended to promote the sleep of Mr. Argan, 35 sous. I do not complain of that, for it made me sleep very well. Item on the 25th, a good purgative and corroborative mixture composed of fresh cassia and leviatine senna and other ingredients according to the prescription of Mr. Pagel to expel Mr. Argan's biles. 4 francs. 4 francs! You are joking, Miss Fleurant. You must learn to be reasonable. Mr. Pagel never told you to put 4 francs. Tut. Put 3 francs. Item on the said day, a dose anodyne and astringent to make Mr. Argan sleep, 30 sous. 10 sous, Miss Fleurant. Item on the 26th, a good carminative enema to cure the flatulence of Mr. Argan, 30 sous. Item, the enema repeated in the evening as above, 30 sous. 10 sous, Miss Fleurant. Item on the 27th, a good mixture composed for the purpose of driving out the bad humors of Mr. Argan, 3 francs. Good. 20 and 30 sous. Item on the 26th, a dose of clarified and sweetened whey to soften, lenify, temper, and refresh the blood of Mr. Argan, 20 sous. Good. 10 sous. Item, a potion cordial and preservative, composed of 12 grains of bezoar, syrup of citrons and pomegranates, and other ingredients, according to the prescription, 5 francs! Oh! Gently, Miss Fleurant! If you go on like this, no one will wish to be unwell. Take 4 francs, if you please. Oh. 2 and 3 make 5, and 5 make 10, and 10 makes 20, 63 sous and 4 francs. So that, during this month, I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mixtures, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 enemas. Last month, there were 12 mixtures and 20 enemas. I am not astonished, therefore, that I am not so well this month as last. I must speak to Mr. Pagel so he may set the matter straight. Come, let this be taken away. Nobody. I am always left alone. There is no way of keeping them here. Nothing. They don't hear, and my bell doesn't make enough noise. You hussy! You jade! Confound it all! The devil take you, you brat! Coming. You jade! You fix it! You hussy!
Pardon your impatience, sir. You have hurried me so much that I have tumbled down the stairs.
For the last hour,
Ow!
You would...
Ow!
To leave...
Ow!
Quiet, you baggage, and let me scold you.
Well, that's too bad after what I have done to
my throat is sore.
And you make me break my head open. One is just as bad as the other, so with your leave, we are quits.
What, you hussy?
If you go on scolding me, surely I shall cry.
To leave me, you would. What? Shall I also give up the pleasure of scolding her?
Fine, go on scolding, do as you'd like.
You prevent me by interrupting me every moment.
If you have the pleasure of scolding me, surely I should have that of crying. Let every man have his fancy. 'Tis but right.
Give it up, I suppose. Come, take this away, you jade. And be sure to have some broth ready for the other that I am to take later.
This Miss Fleurant and Mr. Purgon amuse themselves finely with your body. They have a rare cash cow in you. I will say, I should like them to tell me which disease it is you have for them to physique you so.
Oh, quiet, you simpleton. It is not for you to control the decrees of the faculty. Call my daughter, Angélique. There's something I want to talk to her about.
Oh, here she is, coming of her own accord. She must have guessed your thoughts.
Come, daughter, I want to talk to you.
I am quite ready to hear you.
Oh. Wait a moment, I'll be back directly. Give me my walking stick!
Go quickly, sir! Miss Fleurant gives us plenty to do. Toinette! Yes? Well, look at me a little. I'm looking. Toinette, what? Don't you guess what I wish to speak about? Oh, yes. I have some slight idea you want to speak of our young lover, for you have not ceased speaking about him for the last 6 days, and you are unwell if you do not mention him at every turn.
Well, if you know what it is I want, then why are you not the first to speak to me of him? And why not spare me the trouble of being the one to start the conversation?
You are so eager, it is difficult to be beforehand with you on the subject.
I acknowledge that I am never weary of speaking of him, and that I take eager advantage of every moment I have to open my heart toward you, but tell me, Toinette, do you blame the feelings I have toward him?
I am far from doing so.
Am I wrong in giving way to these sweet impressions?
I do not say that you are.
And would you have me insensible to the tender protestations of ardent love which he shows me?
Heaven forbid.
Do you not see as I do something providential, some act of destiny in the unexpected adventure from which our acquaintance originated?
Yes.
That it is impossible to act more generously. Oh.
Agreed.
And that he did all this with the greatest possible grace.
Oh, yes.
Oh, do you not think, Toinette, that he is very handsome?
Certainly.
That he has the best possible manners in the world?
No doubt about it.
But there is always something noble in what he says and what he does.
True.
And that there can be nothing more painful than the restraint under which I am kept, for it prevents all sweet intercourse and puts an end to that mutual love with which heaven has inspired us.
You are right.
But dear Toinette, do you think he loves me as much as he says he does?
That is a thing hardly to be trusted at any time. The show of love is sadly just like the real thing, and I have met very good actors in that line.
Toinette, what are you saying there? Alas, judging by the manner in which he speaks, do you think it is possible that he's not telling the truth?
At any rate, you will find out soon enough. The resolution he says he is taking in asking your hand in marriage will be a sure and ready way of knowing if what he says is true or not. It will be all sufficient proof.
If he deceives me, I shall never in all my life believe in any man.
Oh, here is your father coming back.
Angélique, I have some news for yon which perhaps you didn't expect. You have been asked of me in marriage. Voila! What is this? You are smiling. word marriage. There is nothing so funny to young girls. Nature, nature. Well, I see there is no need in my asking if you wish to be married.
It is my duty, Father, blindly to follow all you have to determine upon for me.
I am very glad to possess such an obedient daughter. It is settled that I have promised you.
I ought to obey you in everything, Father.
My wife, your mother-in-law, wanted me to make a nun of you and your sister, Louise, also. She has always been bent upon that.
The excellent creature has her reasons.
She would not consent to this marriage, but I carried the day, and my word is given.
Really, sir, I am quite pleased with you for that. It is the wisest thing you have ever done in your entire life.
I have not yet seen the young man, but I am told that I will be satisfied with him, and that you too shall be satisfied.
Most certainly, Father.
How have you seen him then?
Since your consent to our marriage authorizes me to open my heart towards you, I will not hide that chance has made us acquainted 6 days ago, and that the request which has been made to you is the result of the sympathy we felt for one another at first sight.
They did not mention that to me, but I am glad of it. It is better that it should be so. I am told that he is a tall, well-made young fellow.
Yes, Father.
Of a fine build.
Yes, indeed.
Pleasant.
Certainly.
With a good face.
Very good.
Steady. And of good family.
Quite.
And that he speaks both Latin and Greek.
Oh, I didn't know anything about it.
And that he shall in 3 days be made a doctor.
What?
Yes, did he not tell you?
Indeed not. Who told you?
Mr. Pagel.
Does Mr. Pagel know him?
What a question! Of course he knows him, as he is his nephew.
Cléante is the nephew of Mr. Pagel?
What, Cléante, we are talking about him who has asked you in marriage.
Yes, of course.
Well, he is the nephew of Mr. Pagel, the son of his brother-in-law, Mr. Diafoirus. And this son is called Thomas Diafoirus, not Cléante. Miss Fleurant and I settled upon the match this morning, and tomorrow this future son-in-law will be brought to me by his father. What's the matter? You look all put out.
It is because, Father, I see that you have been speaking of one person and I of another.
What, sir? You have formed such a queer project as this. And with all of the wealth you possess in the world, you want to marry your daughter to a doctor?
What business is it of yours, you impudent hussy?
Gently, gently. You always begin with abuse. Can we not reason together without getting into a rage? Come, let us speak quietly. What reason have you, sir, if you please, for such a marriage?
My reason is that seeing myself unwell and sick, I wish to have a son-in-law and relatives who are doctors, so that I may secure their kind assistance that I need, to have in my family the fountainhead of those remedies which are necessary to me, and to be within reach of consultation and prescriptions.
Very well. That is giving reason enough. And there is a certain pleasure in answering one another calmly. Now, on your conscience, sir, do you really believe that you are ill?
Believe that I am ill, you jade. Believe that I am ill, you impudent hussy.
Very well then, sir. You are ill. Let us not quarrel about that. You are very ill. I agree with you upon that point. More ill than even you believe. There. Is that settled? Now, your daughter is to marry a husband for herself, and she is not ill. So what is the use of giving her a doctor?
I give her this doctor for my sake, and a good doctor ought to be delighted to marry for the sake of her father's health.
In good troth, sir, as a friend, can I offer you a piece of advice?
What's this advice?
Not to think of this match.
And your reason?
My reason is that your daughter will never consent to it.
My daughter will not consent to it.
No.
My daughter!
Your daughter! She will tell you she is in no need of Mr. Diafoirus, nor of Mr. Thomas Diafoirus, nor of any of the Diaphori in the entire world.
But I have a need of them. Besides, the match is more advantageous than you know. Mr. Diafoirus has only this son for an heir. Moreover, Mr. Purgon, who has neither wife nor child, gives all that he has in favor of this marriage. And Mr. Purgon is a man worth 8,000 francs a year.
What a lot of people he must have killed to become so rich.
8,000 francs is something without counting the property of the father.
That is very well, sir, but all the same, I still advise you to choose another husband for your daughter. She is not of the make to become a Mrs. Diafoirus.
Then I will force her.
Fine, nonsense, don't speak like that.
Don't speak like that, why not?
Oh, dear me, no, don't.
And why should I not speak like that?
People will say you do not know what you are talking about.
People will say all they like, but I tell you I will have her make my promise good.
I feel sure that she won't.
She will, or I will force her.
She will not do it, I tell you.
Then I will shut her up in a convent.
Good!
How good?
You will not shut her up in a convent!
I will not shut her up in a convent.
No.
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 This is something. I will not shut my daughter up in a convent if I like.
You will not do it, I tell you.
And what will hinder me?
You, yourself.
Myself.
You will never have the heart to do it.
I shall.
You are joking.
I am not joking.
Fatherly love will hinder you.
It will not hinder me.
Oh, a little tear or two, or her arms wrapped around your shoulder, or a, my darling little papa.
Will be said very tenderly, will be enough to touch your heart.
All that will be useless.
Ah, yes.
I tell you, nothing will move me.
Rubbish.
You have no business to say rubbish.
I know you very well, sir. You are very kind-hearted.
I am not kind-hearted. I am ill-natured when I like.
Gently, sir. You forget that you are ill.
I command her to prepare herself to take the man I have set upon.
And I decidedly forbid her to do anything of the kind.
What have we come to? And what boldness for this scrub of a servant to speak in such a way before her master.
When a master does not know what he is talking about, a sensible servant should set him right.
Oh, impudent girl, I will kill you.
It is my duty to oppose anything that would bring dishonor to you.
Come here and I will teach you how to speak.
I interest myself in your affairs as I ought. I do not wish you to bring any folly.
Jade!
I will never consent to this marriage.
Worthless hussy!
I will never have her marry your Thomas Diafoirus.
Vixen!
Obey me sooner than she obeys you.
Angélique, won't you stop this girl for me?
Father, don't make yourself ill.
If you don't stop her, I will refuse you my blessing.
Oh, and if she obeys you, I will disinherit her.
Oh, what have we come to? I am undone. It is enough to kill me. Come near, my wife.
Oh, what ails you, my poor dear husband?
Oh, come to my help.
What is the matter, my darling?
My love.
My love.
They have just put me in a rage.
Alas, my poor little husband, how was that, my own dear pet?
That jade of yours, Toinette, grows more insolent than ever.
Oh, don't excite yourself.
She has put me in a rage, my love.
Gently, my love.
She has been thwarting me for the past hour about everything I want to do.
There, never mind.
And she has had the impudence to say that I am not ill.
Oh, she is an impertinent hussy.
You know my soul.
Yes, my darling, she is wrong.
That jade is the cause of all of my bile.
Now, don't.
She will be the death of me.
Don't be so angry.
And I have asked you ever so many times to send her away.
Alas, my love, there is no servant without defects. We are obliged at times to put up with their bad qualities on account of their good ones. The girl is skillful, careful, diligent, and above all, honest. And you know that in our days we must be very careful about what people we bring into our house. I say, Toinette! Madame, how is this? Why do you put my husband in a passion?
Oh, I, madame? I do not know what you are talking about. My only aim is to please master in everything.
Oh, deceitful girl!
He told us that he wished to marry his daughter the match would be very advantageous, but that he would do better to put her in a convent.
Oh, well, there is not much harm in that, and I think she's right.
Oh, you don't believe her, my love. She's a vile girl who said 100 insolent things to me.
Come, my dear, compose yourself. And you, Toinette, listen to me. If ever you make my husband angry again, I will send you away. Come, bring me his fur blanket so I may make him comfortable in his armchair. Oh, pull your nightcap down over your ears. There is nothing that gives people such bad colds as letting in the air through the ears. Raise yourself a little. So let's put this one for you to lean upon. This one on the other side. This one for your back. And this other to support your head. And this one for the
Smother me!
Now, what is it again?
I am undone!
Why do you fly into such a passion? She thought she was doing right.
You don't know, my love, the wickedness of that vile girl. She has altogether upset me, and I shall want 8 different mixtures and 12 injections to remedy the evil.
Oh, come, my dearie. Compose yourself a little.
Oh, lovey, you are my only consolation.
Poor little head.
And to repay you for all the care you take of me, I will, as we discussed, make my will.
My soul! Do not let us speak of that, I beseech you! I cannot bear to think of it, and the very word will makes me die of grief.
I had asked you to speak to our notary about it.
Oh, well, there he is, close at hand. I have brought him with me.
Make him come in, my love.
Alas, when a woman loves her husband so much, she finds it almost impossible to think of these things.
Come, Mr. de Bonnefoi, come, please have a seat. My wife tells me that you are an honest man and altogether one of her friends. I have asked her, therefore, to speak to you about a will which I wish to make.
Alas, I cannot speak of those things.
She has told me your intentions, sir, and what you mean to do for her, but I must tell you that you can leave nothing to your wife by will.
But why not?
It's against custom. If we lived in a town where statute law prevailed, the thing could be done, but in Paris and almost all places governed by custom, it cannot, and the will would be held void. The only settlement a man and wife can make on each other is by mutual donation when they are both still alive. But even then, there must be no children from that marriage or any previous marriage at the decease of the first who dies.
What an impertinent custom, that a man can leave nothing to his wife, whom he loves, by whom he is so tenderly cared, and who loves him so much. I should like to speak to my own advocate on the matter.
It is not for an advocate for which you must apply, for they are very particular on such matters and find it a great crime to bestow one's property contrary to the law. They are to make great difficulties of such things and are ignorant to the bylaws of conscience. There are others whom you may consult with who have great expedients for gently overriding the law. These know how to smooth over the difficulties of an affair, and without that, what would become of us every day? We must make things easy. Otherwise, we should do nothing, and I wouldn't give a penny for our business.
My wife had rightly told me that you are an honest and clever man. What can I do then to leave her my wealth and deprive my children of it?
What you can do. You can find a friend of your wife to pay all you owe her in due form from your will, and she can give it to her afterwards. You can also write a great many safe documents in favor of various creditors, and they can lend their name to your wife, and afterwards they can write that what was done was only to serve her. Thank you. You can also, in your lifetime, put in her hands ready money and bills payable to bearer.
Alas, you must not trouble yourself about all that. If I lose you, my love, I will stay no longer in this world.
My love.
Yes, my pet, if I were unfortunate enough to lose you.
My dear.
Life would mean nothing to me.
My wife.
And I would follow you to the grave to show you all the tenderness I feel for you.
You must comfort yourself, I beseech you.
These tears are unreasonable. Things have not come to that yet.
Ah, sir, you don't know what it is to have a husband one loves tenderly.
The only regret I shall have if I die, my love, is to have no child with you. Mr. Purgon told me he would make me have one.
That may come still.
I will, as this gentleman advises, make my will, but out of precaution, I will leave you the 20,000 francs in the wainscoting of the recess of my room, and 2 bills payable to bearer, which are due to me, one for Mr. Demont and the other for Mr.
No,
Durante.
no, I will have nothing to do with all that. How much did you say there was in the recess?
20,000.
Oh, don't speak to me of your money, I beseech you. How much were those 2 bills for?
One is for 6,000 francs, the other for 4,000 francs, my dear.
Oh, all the wealth in the world, my soul, is nothing to me compared to you.
Shall we drop the will?
Yes, but we'll be more comfortable in my own little room. Come, help me, my love.
Oh, come, my poor dear husband.
They are shut up with a note, and I overheard something about a will? Your stepmother does not sleep. It is no doubt some conspiracy against her, against your will which she is urging your father.
Let him dispose of his money as he likes, so long as he does not dispose of my heart in the same way. You see, Toinette, to what violence it is subjected. Oh, do not forsake me in this, my extremity.
I forsake you? I had rather die. It is in vain that your stepmother makes me espouse her interests and brings me into her confidence. I can never like her. And I have always been on your side. Trust me when I say I will serve you in everything. But in order to serve you most effectually, I will need to change my tactics, hide my wish to help you, and affect to enter into the feelings of your father and stepmother.
Try, I beg of you, to let Cléante know about the marriage they've decided upon.
I have nobody to employ for that duty. Oh, except my lover, Punchinello. It'll cost me a few honeyed words, which I am most willing to spend for you. Today is too late for that, but tomorrow morning early, I will send for him, and he will be most delighted. Ugh, I'm called away. Good night. Trust me.
What do I want?
Oh, it's you! What a surprise! What are you coming here for?
To learn my destiny, to speak with the lovely Angélique and ask her what she means to do about this fatal marriage of which I've been told.
Very well, but no one speaks all of that so easily to Angélique. You have been told how narrowly she is watched. You must take precautions. She never goes out, nor does she see anyone. It was through the curiosity of an old aunt that we even gained leave to go see the play where your love began, and we have taken good measure not to say anything about it.
Well, therefore, I'm not here as Cléante, nor as her lover, but as the friend of her music master, from whom I've obtained leave to say that I have come here in his stead.
Oh, here's our man. Withdraw a little and let me tell him who you are.
Mr. Purgon ordered me to pace 12 times to and fro my room every day. but I forgot to ask him if it should be lengthways or across.
Sir, there is
Ah, speak in a lower tone, you jade. You split my head open, and you forget that one must not speak so loud to one who is ill.
Sir,
Speak lower, I tell you.
Sir. What? I want to tell you that.
What?
There is a gentleman here who wants to speak to you.
Let him come in then.
Sir, oh!
Don't speak so loudly for fear of splitting open the head of Mr. Argan.
Sir, I am delighted to find that you are up and that you are better.
How? Better? Master is always ill.
I had heard your master was better, and I thought he looks well in the face.
What do you mean by looking well in the face? He looks very bad. It is only impertinent folks that say that he looks well. He has never been so ill in his life.
She's right.
He walks and sleeps and eats and drinks like other folks, but that does not hinder him from being so very ill.
Quite true.
I am heartily sorry for it. Sir, I am sent by your daughter's music master. He was obliged to go in the country for a few days and has asked me to come here in his place to go on with the lessons for fear that if they were discontinued, she would forget what she had already learned.
Very well, call Angélique.
Oh, sir, I think it would be a better idea to bring the gentleman to her room.
No, bring her here.
He cannot give her a good lesson if they are not left alone.
Oh, yes, he can.
Sir, it will stun you, and you shall have nothing to disturb you in the state of health that you are in.
No, I like music, and I think here she is. Go and see if my wife is dressed. Come, doctor. Your music master has gone into the country, and here is a man he has sent for your lesson. What's this? Why this surprise?
It is.
What can disturb you in such a manner?
It is such a strange coincidence.
How so?
I dreamt last night that I was in the greatest trouble imaginable and that someone exactly like this gentleman came to me. I asked him to help me, and presently he saved me from the great trouble I was in. My surprise was very great to meet unexpectedly on my coming here him of whom I had been dreaming all night.
Well, it gives me no small happiness to occupy your thoughts, whether sleeping or waking. And my delight would be great indeed if you were in any trouble you deem me worthy of delivering you. There is nothing I will not do.
Oh, sir! I am of your opinion now, and I unsay all that I said yesterday. Here are Mr. Diafoirus the father and Mr. Diafoirus the son. Oh, how well provided you will be with a son-in-law. You will see the best-made fellow in the world, and the most intellectual. He said but 2 words to me, it is true. I was struck with them, and your daughter will be delighted with him.
Don't go, sir, for as you see, I'm about to marry off my daughter, and they have just brought this future son-in-law, whom she has not yet seen.
You do me great honor, sir, in wishing me witness of such a pleasant interview.
He is the son of a very clever doctor. And this wedding will take place in 4 days.
Indeed.
Inform her music master so that he may be at the wedding.
I will not fail to do so.
And I invite you also.
You do me too much honor.
Come, make room. Here they are.
Mr. Purgon has forbidden me to take off my cap. You, being of the profession, know what the consequences would be of doing so.
We are bound in all our visits to bring relief to invalids and not to injure them.
I
We
receive,
come here,
sir,
My
With
son
great
Thomas
joy.
and myself. To
The
declare
honor
to
you
you,
do
sir,
it. I wish that I could have gone to your house to assure you of it. But being an invalid,
honor,
who can
sir, of
only
your
tell
house.
you here
And
that
assure
he
you that
sees
in all
every
that happens on our
opportunity
object,
to
as
show
well
you
as in any
that
other way,
his
we
entire
shall
will
ever
be
be
at
ready,
your
sir, to show you
service.
our zeal. Now, Thomas, come forward and pay your respects.
I'll try not to begin with the father.
Yes.
Sir, I come to salute, acknowledge, cherish, and revere in you a second father. The first gave me birth, but you have chosen me. He received me by necessity, but you have accepted me by choice. What I have from him is of the body, corporal. What I hold from you is of the will, voluntary. And so much the more as the mental faculties are above the corporal, and so much the more do I hold precious this future affiliation for which I come beforehand today to render you my most humble and most respectful homage.
Long life to the colleges which send such clever people into the world.
Has this been said to your satisfaction, Father?
Optime.
Come, greet the gentleman.
And I kiss.
Yes, yes.
Madame, it is with justice that heaven has given you the title of stepmother, since seeing you steps towards...
It is not to my wife that you are speaking, but to my daughter.
Where is she?
She will soon come.
Shall I wait, Father, till she comes?
No. Go through your compliments to the young lady in the meantime.
Madame, I experienced a sweet rupture at the apparition of this son of your beauty. As a naturalist remarked that the flowered-styled heliotrope always turns towards the star of day, so will my heart forever turn towards the resplendent stars of your adorable eyes. Suffer me, then, madam, to make today on the altar of your charms the offering of a heart which longs for and is ambitious of no greater glory than to be till death, madam, your most humble, most obedient, most faithful servant and husband.
How it is to study and how one learns to say fine things.
Well, what do you say to all that?
The gentleman does wonders. If he's as good a doctor as he is an orator, it'd be most pleasant to be one of his patients.
It will be something admirable if his cures are as wonderful as his speeches.
Come, seats for everybody. My illness makes me weak. Oh. You see, sir, how much we all admire your son, and I think you are very fortunate to be the father of such a fine young lad.
Well, sir, it is not because I am his father, but I can boast that I have reason to be satisfied with him, and that all those who see him speak of him as a youth without guile. He has not a very lively imagination, nor that sparkling wit which is found in some others, but it is this which has made me think well of his judgment, the quality required for the exercise of our art. As a child, he never was what was considered sharp or lively. It was found most difficult to teach him to read, and he was 9 years old before he learned his letters. A good omen, I used to say to myself. Trees slow of growth bear the best fruit. When I sent him to college, he found it hard work, but he bore up with obstinacy against all difficulties. His tutors always praised him for his assiduity and the trouble he took. In short, by continual hammering, he at last succeeded gloriously in obtaining his degree, and I can say, without vanity, that from that time till now, there has been no candidate who has made more noise than he in all of the disputations at our school. There he has rendered himself formidable, and no debate passes that he does not go and argue loudly and to the last extreme on the opposite side. He is firm in dispute, strong as a Turk in his defenses, never changes his opinion, and follows an argument to the last recesses of logic. But, above all things, what pleases me in him, and what I am glad to see him follow my example in, is that he is blindly attached to the opinions of the ancients, and that he would never understand nor listen to the reasons or the experiences of the pretended discoveries of our century concerning the circulation of the blood and other opinions of the same stamp.
It is against these circulators that I have written a thesis, which, with the permission of this gentleman, I venture to present to the young lady as the first fruits of my genius.
Sir, it is a useless piece of furniture to me. I do not understand these things.
Never mind, give it all the same. The picture will be of use. We will adorn the attic with it.
With the permission of this gentleman, I invite you to come one of these days and amuse yourself by assisting at the dissection of a woman upon whose body I am to be giving lectures.
The invitation will be most welcome. Most give the pleasure of seeing a play to their lady loves, but a dissection is much more gallant.
Moreover, in respect to the qualities required for marriage, I can assure you that he is all you could wish for, and that his children will be strong and healthy. And beyond that, there's no small...
Sir, make my daughter sing before the company.
I was awaiting your command, sir, and I propose, in order to amuse the company, to sing with the young lady an operetta that has lately come out. Here's your part.
Mine?
To see you must sing. I have no voice, but in this case, I deem it sufficient, and you must have the goodness to excuse me, because I am under the necessity of making the young lady sing.
Are the verses pretty?
It is really nothing but a small opera, and what you'll hear is a kind of rhythmical prose or kind of irregular verse, such as passion and necessity make two people utter.
Very well, let us hear.
Our story, the humble shepherd Tertius has rescued the neighboring shepherd Phyllis from an unsavory assailant. Having fallen in love, they approach Phyllis's father for his blessing in marriage. Upon his refusal, they sing this lament. Phyllis! 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 Excuse me. Phyllis! Too sharp a pain you bid me bear! Break this stern silence! Tell me what to fear! Disclose your thoughts and bid them open lie to tell them if I live or die.
The marriage preparations sadden me, overwhelmed with sorrow, my eyes lift to heaven, I strive to pray, then gaze on you and sigh, no more I say.
Tertius, who would fain woo, tell them, Phyllis, is that true? Is he so blessed by your sweet grace as in your heart to find a place?
I may not hide it in this dire extreme, Tertius I own for you my love.
Oh, blessed words! Am I indeed so blessed? Repeat them, Phyllis! Set my doubts at rest!
I love you, Tertius!
Ah! Phyllis! Once again!
I love you, Tertius!
Alas, I fain 100 times would hearken to that strain!
I love you, Tertius, I love you!
Ye kings and gods, from your eternal seats, behold the world at men beneath your feet. Can you possess a happiness more sweet? My Phyllis, one dark haunting fear, our peaceful joy disturbs unsought. Arrival my homage share.
Worse than death is such a thought. Its presence equals to both and mars my bliss.
Your father to his vow would subject you.
Worse than death before I prove untrue.
And what does the father say to all this?
Nothing.
Then the father is a fool for letting them say such silly things in his presence. Oh, no! That will do. An opera like that is in very bad taste. The shepherd Tertius is an impertinent fellow, and the shepherdess Phyllis an impudent girl to say such things in the presence of her father. Let me see that paper. Aha! And where are the words you have just sung? This is only the music.
Are you not aware, sir, that the way of writing words with the notes themselves have lately been discovered?
Has it? Goodbye for the present. We could have done very well without your impertinent opera.
I thought I should amuse you.
Foolish things do not amuse, sir. Ah, here is my wife. My love, this is the son of Mr. Diafoirus.
Madam, it is with justice that heaven has given you the title of stepmother. Since we see...
Sir, I am delighted to have come here just in time to see you.
Since we seeing you... Madam, you've interrupted me in the middle of my speech and have troubled my memory.
Keep it for another time.
My love, I wish you had been here just now.
Ah, madame, how much you have missed by not being at the second father, the flower-styled heliotrope, and a wonderful invitation to a dissection. Oh.
Come, daughter. Shake hands with the gentleman and bid him your troth.
Father!
What do you mean by father?
I beg of you not to be in such a hurry. Give us time to become acquainted with one another and see grow in us that sympathy so necessary toward a perfect union.
As far as I am concerned, madam, it is already full grown within me. And there is no occasion for me to...
I am not so quick as you are, sir, and I must confess that your merit has not yet made enough impression on my heart.
Nonsense. There will be time for the impression to be made after you are married.
Father, give us time, I beg of you. Marriage is not a chain which should be imposed by force, and if this gentleman is truly a man of honor, he ought not to accept a person that would be his only by force.
Nego consequentio, madam, I can at once be a man of honor while also accepting you from the hands of your father.
To do violence to anyone is a strange way of setting about inspiring love.
We read in the ancients, madam, that it was their custom to carry off by main force from their father's house the woman they wish to marry, so that the latter may not fly abroad a cord into the arms of a man.
The ancients, sir, are the ancients, but we are the moderns. Pretenses are not necessary in our age, and when a marriage pleases us, we know how to go to it without being dragged by force. Have a little patience, sir. If you love me, then you ought to do as I wish.
Certainly, madam, but without prejudice to the interest of my love.
But the greatest mark of love is to submit to the will of her who is loved.
Distinguo! In what does not regard the position of her, concedo, but in what regards it. No.
That you are you. This man is brand new from college and will be more than a match for you. Why refuse and resist the glory of the faculty?
She may have some other inclination in her head.
If I had, madam, it would be such as reason and honor allow.
Hey, I am playing a pleasant part here.
If I were you, my love, I would not force her to marry. I know very well what I should do.
I know what you mean, madam, and how kind you are to me, but it may be hoped that your advice may not be fortunate enough to be followed.
That is because well brought up and good children, like you, scorn to be obedient to the will of their fathers. Obedience was all very well in former times.
The duty of a daughter has its limits, madam, and neither reason nor law can extend it to all things.
Which means that your thoughts are all in favor of marriage, but that you'll choose a husband for yourself.
If my father will not give me a husband I like, at least I beg of him not to force me to marry one that I can never love.
Gentlemen, I beg your forgiveness for this.
We all have our own end in marrying. For my part, as I only want a husband I can love sincerely, and as I intend to consecrate my entire life to him, I feel bound, I confess, to be cautious. There are some who marry simply to free themselves from the yoke of their parents and to be at liberty to do all they like. There are others, madam, who see in marriage only a matter of mere interest, who marry only to get a settlement and to enrich themselves by the death of those they marry. They pass without scruple from husband to husband with an eye to their possessions. These, no doubt, madam, are not so difficult to satisfy and care little what the husband is like.
You are very full of reasoning today. I wonder what you mean by this.
I, madam? Oh, what can I mean but what I say?
Oh, you are such a simpleton, my dear, that one can hardly bear with you.
You would like to extract from me some rude answer, but I warn you, you will not have the pleasure of doing so.
Oh, nothing can equal your impertinence.
It is of no use, madam, you will not.
But you have a ridiculous pride, an impertinent presumption, which makes you the scorn of everybody.
All this will be useless, madam. I shall be quiet in spite of you, and to take away all hopes of you succeeding, I will withdraw from your presence. Come, Louise.
Listen to me! Of these two things, one! Either you will marry this gentleman, or you will go to a convent! I give you 4 days to consider! Don't be anxious, I will bring her to reason.
I am sorry to leave you, my love, but I have some important business which calls me to town. I shall soon be back.
Yes, be sure to call on our notary and discuss with him, you know what?
Yes, goodbye, my love.
Goodbye, my love. How much that woman loves me, it is perfectly impossible.
Well, we shall now take our leave of you, sir.
Sir, I beg you to tell me how I am.
Certainly. Now, Thomas, come take the other arm. Oh, the gentleman. I would see that you could form a right judgment of his pulse. Quid dicis?
Dick up. That the pulse of this man is the pulse of a man who is not well.
Good.
But it is Durusculus, not to say Durus.
Very well.
Irregular.
Bene.
And even a little capricent.
Optime.
What speaks of an intemperance of the splenetic kind. That is to say,
Quite right. Quite right.
But that cannot be, for Mr. Purgon says that it is my liver which is unwell.
Well, certainly. He who says the parenchyma says both one and the other, because of the great sympathy that exists between them through the means of the vas breve, of the pylorus, and often of the meatus colodici. He no doubt orders you to eat plenty of roast meat?
No, nothing but boiled meat.
Yes, roast or boiled, it is all the same. He orders very well, and you could not have fallen into better hands.
Sir, I wonder if you could tell me how many grains of salt I ought to put on an egg.
6, 8, 10, by even numbers, just as in medicines by odd numbers.
Thank you, sir, and I hope to have the pleasure of seeing you again soon.
Before I go out, there is one thing I must inform you of which you must be careful of. While passing before Angélique's door, I saw with her a young man who ran away as soon as he noticed me.
A young man with my daughter?
Oh, yes, your little girl Louise, who was with them, will tell you all about it.
Send her here, my love. Send her here at once. Ah, the brazen-faced girl. I wonder no longer at the resistance she showed.
What do you want, Papa? My stepmom is saying come to you.
Yes, come nearer. Look at me. Well?
What, Papa?
So?
What?
Have you nothing to say to me?
Yes. I could tell you the story of the ass's skin, or the fable of Fox and Crow, which I've learned lately.
That is not what I want of you, and you know it.
What is it then?
Is this how you obey me?
What, Papa?
Have I not asked you to tell me at once all you see?
Yes, Papa.
And have you done so?
Yes, Papa. I always come and tell you all I see.
Have you seen nothing today?
No, Papa.
No?
No, Papa.
Quite sure?
Quite sure.
I will make you see something soon.
Papa!
False little girl, you do not tell me that you saw a man within your sister's room.
Papa!
Oh, this will teach you to tell me falsehoods.
Papa, forgive me. My sister asked me not to say anything to you, but I'll tell you everything.
You will not be getting this back, and no dessert the entirety of this week.
You've hurt me. I'm dead.
How now, Louise? What's this? Louise! Oh, my child, our wretched father! My poor child is dead! Oh, my child, my poor little Louise!
Come, dear Papa. Don't weep so. I'm not quite dead. Yet.
Oh, just see the cunning little wench. Well, I forgive you, but just this once. And you must tell me everything.
Oh, yes, dear Papa.
Take great care for, here is my little finger, which knows everything, and it will tell me if there's something you do not say.
Papa, a young man came into Sister's room while I was there.
Well?
Asked him what he wanted. He said that he was her music master.
I see. Well?
Then Sister came.
Well?
She said to him, go away, but heavens, you'll drag me to despair.
Well?
But he would not go away.
And then after? Well?
She said to him, go away, wait.
He didn't kneel down beside him, did he?
Yes.
And then what?
Then he kept kissing her hands.
And then?
Then my stepmama came to the door and he escaped.
Nothing else?
No, dear Papa.
What? What's that? Oh, but here is my little finger which says there is something you saw which you do not say.
Papa, your finger's a little storyteller.
Take care.
No, don't believe him. He tells a story, I assure you.
Well, we'll see about that. Now, pay great attention to everything you see. Children are no longer children nowadays. What trouble! I am quite done up. I have not even enough leisure to attend to my illness.
Well, brother. What is the matter? How are you?
Very bad, brother. Very bad indeed.
And why is that?
No one would believe how very feeble I am.
That is a sad thing indeed.
I have not even enough strength to speak.
Well, I came here, brother, to propose a match for my niece, Angélique.
Brother, do not speak to me of that insolent, brazen-faced, good-for-nothing, wicked girl. I will put her in a convent before 2 days are over.
Well, all right. I'm glad to see that you still have a little strength still left and that my visit does you good. Well, we will talk of business by and by.
Wait a moment. I must go and grab something to soothe my nerves, and then we'll talk business.
Oh, sir! Don't go so quickly. You forget you cannot walk without a stick. Pray do not give up the interest of your niece.
No, I shall do all in my power to forward her wishes.
We must prevent this foolish marriage which he has gotten into his head from taking place. And I thought to myself that it would be a good idea to introduce a doctor here, having full understanding of our wishes, to disgust him with Mr. Purgon, and to abuse his mode of treating him. But as I have no one to act that part, I have decided upon playing a little trick of my own.
In what way?
Oh, it is a rather absurd idea, and maybe more fortunate than good. Act your part. Oh, here's our man.
Let me ask you, brother, above all things, not to excite yourself during our conversation.
I agree.
To answer without anger to anything I may mention.
Very well.
And to venture together upon the business I wish to discuss with you without any irritation.
Dear me, yes, what a preamble.
How is it, brother, that with all the wealth you possess, and with only one daughter, for I do not count the little one, you speak of sending her to a convent?
How is it, brother, that I am master of my own family and can do all I think fit?
Your wife doesn't fail to advise you to get rid in that way of your two daughters, and I have no doubt that she would be charmed to see them both good nuns through a spirit of charity.
Oh, I see my poor wife again. It is she who does all the harm, and everyone is against her.
No, brother, let us leave that alone. She is a woman with the best intentions in the world for the good of your family, and is free from all interested motives. She expresses for you an extraordinary tenderness, and shows towards your children an inconceivable goodness. No, let us not speak of her, but only of your daughter. What can be your reasoning for wishing to give her in marriage to the sort of a doctor?
My reason is I wish to have a son-in-law and relatives who suit my wants.
But it is not what your daughter requires, and we have a more suitable match for her.
Yes, but he is more suitable for me.
But does she marry a husband for herself or for you, brother?
He must do both for her and for me, brother, and I wish to take into my family people of whom I have a need.
So that if your little girl were old enough, you'd give her to an apothecary.
Why not?
Is it possible that you should always be so infatuated with your apothecaries and doctors, and be so determined to be ill in spite of man and nature?
What do you mean by that, brother?
I mean, brother, that I know of no man less sick than you, and that I should be quite satisfied with a constitution no worse than yours. One great proof that you are well, and that you have a body perfectly well made, is that with all the pains you have taken, you have failed as yet in injuring the soundness of your constitution, and you have not died of all the medication they have made you swallow.
But are you aware, brother, that it is these medicines which keep me in good health? Mr. Purgon says, if I should go without them, I would be in an incurable state in 3 days.
If you are not careful, he will take such care of you that he will soon send you into the next world.
You think that the doctors know nothing.
Alas, brother, I do not believe that it is necessary for our salvation to believe in medicine.
So then, do you believe that the doctors know anything at all?
No. To consider things from a philosophical point of view, I don't know of anything more absurd, any absurd piece of mummery, of anything more ridiculous than a man who takes upon himself to cure another man.
But why would you not believe, brother, that a man can cure another?
For the simple reason, brother, that the springs of our machines are mysteries, that men are as yet completely in the dark, and nature has put too thick a veil before our eyes for us to know anything about it.
So then you know everything and they know nothing.
These doctors have some knowledge of the best classics, can talk fine Latin, can give a Greek name to every disease, can define and distinguish them, but as to curing these diseases, that is out of the question.
You must admit that we can, in some way, help work against the nature of these diseases.
Alas, brother, these are pure fancies with which we deceive ourselves. At times there have crept among men brilliant fancies in which we believe, because it would flatter us, and because it would be well if they were true. When a doctor speaks to us of assisting, of succoring nature, of removing what is injurious to it, of giving it what it is defective in, of restoring it and giving back to it the full exercise of its functions, when he speaks of purifying the blood, of refreshing the bowels and brains, of fortifying the heart, of rebuilding the liver, of renovating the spleen, of keeping up and re-establishing the natural heat, and of possessing secrets wherewith to lengthen life of many years, he repeats to you the romance of physique. But when you test the truth of what he has promised to you, you find that it all ends in nothing. It is like those beautiful dreams which leave you in the morning the regret of ever having believed in them.
So that all the knowledge in the world is contained in your head, and the great doctors of her age know nothing at all.
When you weigh words and actions, your great doctors are two different kinds of people. Listen to their speak, they are the cleverest people in the world. But see them at work, they are the most ignorant.
Hey, I see you are a great doctor then. And I should like someone of those gentlemen to be here to check your arguments and check your babble.
I do not take it upon myself, brother, to fight against physique. And everyone at their own risk and peril may believe what he likes. What I say is only between ourselves. And I should have liked, in order to deliver you from the error into which you have fallen, and in order to amuse you, to take you to see one of Moliere's comedies on this subject.
Your Moliere is a fine, impertinent fellow. To laugh at the doctors, to take off such venerable people as those gentlemen.
It is not the doctors themselves that he takes off, but the absurdity of medicine.
It fits him truly to control the decrees of the faculty. He's a nice simpleton, a nice impertinent fellow to laugh at consultations and prescriptions, to attack the body of physicians, and to bring on his stage such venerable people as those gentlemen!
You are terribly angry with him.
Yes, brother, speak to me of him no more, for he makes me savage, and you will give me his complaint.
I will willingly cease, brother. And, in order to change the subject, let me say that because your daughter shows a slight repugnance to the match you propose, it is no reason why you should shut her up in a convent. In your choice of a son-in-law, you should not blindly follow the anger which masters you. We should, in such a matter, yield a little to the inclinations of the daughter, since it is for all her life, and the whole happiness of her married life depends on it.
Aye, brother, with your leave.
What are you going to do?
Oh, to take this little enema.
Are you joking? Can you not spend one moment without enemas or physique? Put it off to another time and be quiet.
What right do you have to interfere? How dare you oppose yourself to the prescription of the doctors and prevent this gentleman from taking my enema? You're such a fine fellow, such a boldness.
Well, don't let me interrupt. It is easy to see that you are not accustomed to speak face-to-face with others.
Oh, you ought not thus sneer, physique, and waste my precious time. I came here for a good prescription, and I'll go to Mr. Bajan that I prevented him from executing his orders and stop the rumors of my duty. You'll see. You'll see.
Oh, brother, you will cause some misfortune here.
Oh, what a misfortune not to take an enema prescribed by Mr. Bajan. Really, brother, is it possible that you can't be cured of this doctor disease and that you will thus bring yourself under their remedies?
Brother, you speak like one who is quite well. If you were in my place, you would soon change your way of speaking. It is easy to speak against medicine when one is in perfect health.
But what disease is it that you suffer from?
you will drive me to despair, and I should like you to have my disease. Then we would see if you would break about as you do. Here is Mr. Purgon. What good news I have just had downstairs! You laugh at my prescriptions and refuse to take the remedies which I have ordered you. What a strange revolt of a patient!
It is frightful.
Doctor. No, it was not.
In enema, I have had the pleasure of composing myself, which was made up according to all the rules of art.
He was wrong.
It was have a wonderful effect on the intestines to set it back up with contempt.
What was that?
Such
It was
conduct is monstrous.
So it is.
It is detestable against the entire faculty of medicine.
It was.
It is a crime! High treason! Which cannot go too severely punished.
You are quite right.
No, he is.
I declare, I break off all intercourse with you. I shall have no more connection with you.
You would do quite right.
And to end all association with you, here is the deed of gift which I have made towards the marriage of my nephew to your daughter.
He is the one who has caused all this mischief!
Since you don't like me to despise my enema,
Let it be brought, I will take it directly!
I will do it in a very short time.
He doesn't deserve it.
It was a great irrigation to cleanse you entirely.
He is the one.
And it wanted only a dozen purgatives to do the job.
He was my brother.
Since you would not be cured by me,
Not I.
since you have abandoned the obedience that you owe to your doctor,
He cries for vengeance.
since you have declared yourself a rebel against the remedies I have prescribed to you, I tell you, I give you up to your bad constitution, to the intemperament of your intestines, to the acrimony of your blood, to the feculence of your humors, and the acrimony of your bile.
Serves you right.
Alas! I shall have you before 4 days in an incurable state.
Oh, mercy on me!
You shall fall into bradypepsia.
Bradypepsia.
From bradypepsia into dyspepsia.
Mr. Purgon!
From dyspepsia into apepsy.
Mr. Purgon!
From apepsy into, let me think, lion tree.
Lion tree.
Mr. Purgon!
From lion tree into dysentery.
Mr. Purgon!
From dysentery into dropsy.
Mr. Purgon!
From dropsy to the deprivation of life unto which your folly has brought you. Good day, sir!
I feel already that they are revenging themselves upon me.
Really, brother, you are crazy, and I would not for a great deal that you should be seen acting as you are doing. Shake yourself a little, I beg, recover yourself, and do not give way so much to your imagination.
You heard with what strange diseases he has threatened me.
What a foolish fellow you are.
Oh, he said that within 4 days I will be incurable!
And what does it signify what he says? Is it an oracle that has spoken? To hear you, anyone would think that Mr. Purgon holds in his hands the thread of your life and has supreme authority to prolong it or cut it short at his will. Remember, brother, that the springs of your machine are in yourself, and all the wrath of Mr. Purgon can do as little toward making you die as his remedies can do to making you live. This is an opportunity, if you'd like to take it, of getting rid of your apothecaries and doctors. And if you are so constituted that you cannot do without them, it is easy for you, brother, to find another with whom you run less risk.
Oh, but brother, he knows my constitution and how to treat me.
I must admit that you have a strange infatuation, and you see things with strange eyes.
Sir, there is a doctor here who wants to see you.
What doctor?
A doctor of medicine?
I ask you who he is.
I don't know who he is, but I would say he is much like me as 2 peas. And if I were not sure that my mother was an honest woman, I would say he is a little brother she gave me before my father passed away.
You are served according to your wish. One doctor leaves you, another comes to take his place.
Brother, I fear you will cause some great misfortune here.
Oh, are you harping upon that string again?
I have on my mind all those strange diseases that I don't understand.
Sir, I come to pay my respects and to offer you the small services for all the bleedings and purgings that you may require.
I am obliged to you, sir. Toinette herself, I declare.
I pray that you will excuse me, sir. I forgot to give an order to my servant.
Would you not say that that was just Toinette?
It is true that the resemblance is very striking, but it is not the first time we have seen something like this, and history is full of those freaks of nature.
For my part, I am astounded and...
What do you want, sir?
What?
Did you not call my name?
I know.
Oh, my ears must have been tingling then.
Oh, stop here and see how much that doctor is like you.
Ah, yes, because I have all of the time to waste in the world. Besides, I have seen enough of the man already.
Had I not just seen them both here together, I would have thought they were one and the same.
I have read some wonderful stories about such resemblances, and we have seen some in our day that have taken in everyone.
For my part, I would have been taken in and thought the two were but one.
Sir, I beg your pardon with all my heart.
It is astonishing.
You will not take amiss, I hope, the curiosity I feel for such an illustrious patient, and your reputation, which reaches the furthest ends of the earth, must be the excuse for the liberties that I am taking.
Sir, I am your servant.
I see that you are looking earnestly at me, sir. How old do you think I am?
I should say 26 or 27 at the utmost.
I am 90.
90 years old.
These are what the secrets of my art have done for me to keep me fresh and vigorous, as you see.
Upon my word, a fine youthful old fellow of 90.
I am an itinerant doctor. I travel from town to town, from province to province, from kingdom to kingdom, in search of illustrious material for my abilities, and for patients who are capable of exercising the great and noble secrets that I have discovered in medicine. I disdain to amuse myself with the small trifles of common diseases, of all the rubbishes of rheumatisms, coughs, fevers, headaches, and vapors. I require diseases of importance, such as good non-intermittent fevers with delirium, good scarlet fevers, good plagues, good confirmed dropsies, and good pleurisy with inflammation of the lungs. These are what I like. These are what I triumph in. And sir, I wish you had all of these diseases combined, that you had been given up, despaired by all the doctors, and at the point of death, so that I may have the pleasure to show you the excellency of my remedies, and the desire that I have to do you service.
Sir, I am obliged to you for the kind intentions you have towards me.
Come, let me feel your pulse. Come, beat properly. Oh, this pulse is trifling to me. I see it does not know me yet. Who is your doctor?
Mr. Purgon.
Oh. He is not listed here among the great doctors in my book. What does he say that you are ill of?
He says it is the liver, though others say the spleen.
Oh, they are a pack of ignorant blockheads. You are suffering of the lungs.
The lungs?
Yes. What do you feel?
At times there is a great pounding in my head.
Just so, the lungs.
Sometimes it's as though there is a mist before my eyes.
The lungs.
I feel sick now and then.
The lungs.
And sometimes I have a great weariness in all of my limbs.
Oh, the lungs.
And sometimes my stomach is pounding as if it had a colic.
The lungs. Do you eat with good appetite?
Yes, sir.
The lungs. At night, do you drink a little wine?
Yes, sir.
The lungs. And after a meal, you feel sleepy and enjoy a good nap?
Yes, sir.
The lungs, I tell you. What does your doctor order for food?
He orders me soup.
Ignoramus.
Veal.
Ignoramus.
Fowl.
Ignoramus.
Broth.
Ignoramus.
New laid eggs.
Ignoramus.
And at night, some prunes to relax the bowels.
Ignoranta. Ignorantus. Ignorantum.
And above all, he orders me to drink my wine well diluted with water.
You are to drink your wine pure, and to thicken your blood, which is too thin, you must eat good fat beef, good fat pork, some Dutch cheese, some gruel, some rice pudding, chestnuts, and thin cakes, to make it all adhere and conglomerate. Your doctor is an ass. I will send you one of my own school, and I will come to examine you from time to time during my stay in this town.
You will oblige me greatly, sir.
What do you want to do with this arm?
My arm.
I would have it cut off if I were you.
Why?
Can't you see that it attracts all of the nourishment to itself and hinders the other side from growing?
Maybe, but I have a need of my arm.
You also have a right eye that I would have plucked out if I were you.
My right eye plucked out.
Yes, can't you see that it robs all of the nourishment? Trust me, I would have it plucked out as soon as possible. You will see all of the clearer in the left eye.
There is no need to hurry.
I must leave you. I am so sorry, sir. I must assist in a grand consultation, which is to take place about a man who died yesterday.
A man who died yesterday?
Yes, to see what we could have done to cure him. Goodbye.
Well, upon my word, that doctor seemed a very clever man.
Yes, but he goes a little too fast.
Don't all great doctors do so?
My right arm cut off and my right eye plucked out so that the other may be better. I would rather it weren't. Seems a simple operation indeed to make me at once one-armed and one eye.
Come, I am your servant. I am in no joking humor.
What is the matter?
Your doctor, forsooth, wanted to feel my pulse.
And that too at 80 years of age.
Well, brother, since you have quarreled with Mr. Purgon, won't you give me leave to speak of the match which is proposed for my niece?
No, I have made up my mind since she has rebelled against me, and I see that there is some love business at the bottom of it, for there is a certain secret interview which they don't suspect I know about.
Well, suppose there were some little inclination, where could the harm be? Would it be so criminal when it all tends to what is honorable, marriage?
No, I've made up my mind she will be a nun.
You intend to please somebody by so doing?
I know what you mean by that. You always come back to that. It is my wife who is very much in your way.
Well, since I must speak out, brother, it is your wife who I mean, for I can no more bear with your infatuation for doctors than I can with your infatuation for your wife, and see you run headlong into every snare she lays for you.
Sir, do not speak so of the mistress. She is a person against whom there is nothing to be said. She is a woman without deceit. And how she loves my master. Oh, how she loves him, I cannot express how much.
Just tell him of all the caresses she lavishes upon me.
Indeed.
And the great uneasiness that my sickness causes her.
Certainly.
And all the care she takes of me.
Quite right. Will you let me convince you and show you how much my mistress loves my master? Will you let me undeceive him and show him his mistake?
How?
My mistress is coming back soon. Place yourself here, full length on this couch, and pretend to be dead. You will see what grief she will be in when I tell her the news.
Very well, I consent.
Oh, but don't leave her too long in that grief, for she might die of it.
Trust me for that.
Hide yourself in that corner over there.
Is there no danger in counterfeiting death?
No. What danger could there be? Only place yourself here. It will be a pleasure to put your brother into confusion. Oh, here's my mistress. Mind you, keep still. No! Oh, what a misfortune! Oh, what a strange accident! What is the matter, Toinette? Oh, madame, what ails you? Oh, your husband is dead! My husband is dead? Alas, the poor soul is gone. Are you quite certain? Quite certain. No one knows of it yet. I was here all alone when he just breathed his last in his arms. Just look at him full length on this couch. Heaven be praised! I am delivered from the most grievous burden. How silly of you, Toinette, to be so afflicted at his death. Ah, madame, I thought you ought to cry. Oh, it is not worth the trouble. What loss is it to anybody, and what good did he do in this world? A wretch, unpleasant to everybody, of nauseous, dirty habits, always an enema or a dose of physique in his body, always sniveling, coughing, spitting, a stupid, tedious, ill-natured fellow who was forever fatiguing people and scolding night and day at his maids and servants. An excellent eulogy.
Toinette, you must help me carry out my design, and you may depend upon it that I will make it worth your while if you serve me. Since by luck nobody is aware of his death, let us put him in his bed and keep this secret until I have done what I want. There are some papers and some money I must possess myself. It is not right that I should have spent the best years of my life with him without any kind of advantage. Come along, Toinette. First of all, let us take the keys.
So my wife, it is thus you love me.
Yes! The dead man's not dead!
I am so glad to see how you love me and to hear that noble speech you made upon me. It will make me wise for the future and prevent me from doing many things.
Well, oh, really, sir, I could never have believed such a thing. Oh, but I hear your daughter is coming back. Place yourself here just as you were, and let us see how she receives the news. Oh, it can't be a bad thing to try. Besides, it can be the way you know your sentiments of your family towards you. Oh, heavens! Oh, what an unhappy day! Oh, what a sad accident! Oh, what ails you, Toinette? Why did you cry? I have sad news for you. What is it? Your father is dead! My father is dead, Toinette? Yes, he died just a moment ago of a fainting fit that came over him. Oh,
Angélique, and what misfortunes make you weep?
I weep for what was most dear and most precious to me. I weep for the death of my father.
Oh, heavens! What a misfortune! What an unseen stroke of fortune, huh? Alas, after I was going to talk to your uncle about asking you in marriage, I was going to see him in order to try by my respects and entreaties to grant you my wishes.
Cléante, let us talk no more of this. Let us give up all hopes of marriage. Now my father has said I will have nothing to do with the world and will renounce it forever. Yes, father, if I resisted your will, I will at least follow out one of your intentions and will by that make amends for the sorrow I have caused you. Let me make you this promise here and kiss you as proof of my repentance.
Oh, daughter. Do not be afraid, for I am not dead. You are my own true flesh and blood, my real daughter. And I am delighted to know of your good heart.
What a delightful surprise! Father, since heaven has given you back to our love, let me here throw myself at your feet and implore one favor of you. If you do not approve of what my heart feels, if you will not give me Cléante for a husband, at least I beg of you, do not force me to marry someone I can never love.
Sir, allow your heart to be touched by her entreaties and mine, and do not oppose our mutual love.
Brother, how can you deny all of this?
Can you remain insensible to such affection?
Well, let him turn doctor, and I will give him my daughter. Yes, turn doctor, young man, and I will consent to this marriage.
Very willingly, sir. If that's all that's required to become your son-in-law, I will become doctor. Apothecary also, if you like. After all, it's not such a hard thing to do, and I'll do much more to obtain the fair Angélique.
But brother, it just strikes me. Why don't you become doctor yourself? It would be much more convenient to have all that you wish within yourself.
This is true. This can be the very way of curing yourself. Oh, there is no disease bold enough to attack the person of a doctor.
You must be laughing at me. Brother, can I study at my age?
Study? What need is there? You are clever enough for that. There are a great many who are a bit more clever than you are.
Yes, but one must know how to speak Latin very well, and the remedies of the different diseases.
When you put on the cap and gown of a doctor, all of that comes of itself, and you will therefore be far more clever than you care to be.
We know how to discourse upon disease when we put on that dress.
Yes. You only have to hold forth. When you put on the cap and gown of a doctor, all stuff becomes learned and rubbish. Good sense.
Look you, sir, the beard is something itself. The beard is half the doctor.
Anyhow, I'm ready for anything.
Shall we have the thing done immediately?
How immediately?
Now. In your house.
In my house?
Yes. I know a body of physicians, friends of mine, who will come and perform the ceremony in your hall. It will cost you nothing.
Very well, I consent.
What is it you intend to do, and what do you mean by this body of physicians?
What are you going to do? To amuse ourselves a little tonight. The players have made a doctor's admission the subject of a game. I want all of us to enjoy it, and my brother to act the principal part in it.
It seems to me, Uncle, that you're making fun of my father.
But niece, it is not making too much fun of him to fall in with his fancies. We may each of us take part in it ourselves, and thus perform the comedy for each other's amusement. Carnival time authorizes it. Come, let us get everything ready.
Do you consent to it?
Yes, since my uncle leads the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your favorite part of the night. It's Who is Smarter Than a Doctor? So, the rules are simple. We have brought together the smartest, the best minds in all of Paris, the best doctors that we could find, and they are going to be asking our lucky contestant a series of questions. And if he gets enough of them right, he becomes a doctor. Argan, come on down. Are you excited?
Yes.
So the rules are simple. Here we have the smartest, the best doctors in all of Paris. And they're going to be coming up one by one and asking you a series of questions that only a doctor would know. Do you feel up to it?
Yes.
Well, let's bring down the first doctor.
If you are in fact a learned man of medicine, what is the cause and reason that opium induces sleep?
An educated doctor is asking me the cause and reason why opium induces sleep. My answer to that is because there is in it a sleep-inducing power which by its nature relaxes the senses.
Excellent answer. You truly deserve to enter into our learning group. A splendid answer indeed.
Granted that it isn't too unpleasant to think about, which it shouldn't be, can you explain to me why and what reason rhubarb and senna are prescribed for constipation?
I, who am here providing explanation, have been asked by an educated doctor for why rhubarb and senna are prescribed for constipation. My answer to you is because there is in it a purgative power which naturally empties out the patient.
A really, really, really good answer. You really deserve to enter in our learned group.
From the answers, it seems clearer than sunlight that this brainy baccalaureate holder didn't spend his life lollygagging nor pussyfooting. Well, let him explain why a heap of bran and a little milk, along with phlebotomy and purging of the humors, are often called doctor's idols by naysayers and also serves as staple solutions in our field.
I have been asked by an esteemed doctor why a little milk and a heap of bran, phlebotomy and purging of the humors are called doctor's idols by naysayers. My answer is that prescribing such things doesn't require a lot of knowledge, and of those things doctors make the most coin.
Your answer was supplied. You surely deserve to enter into our learned group.
With the permission of you, sir, who are in charge, and of the entire faculty and of the company watching our activities today, what are the remedies to be given to both a man and a woman suffering from an illness called hydropsy, from bodily issues such as apoplexy, convulsion, and paralysis?
Given enema, afterwards leeches, then purge the bowels.
If it seems okay to you, the man who's in charge, to the learned faculty, and to the circle watching us today. Sir, let us return to a house full of illnesses for one day. What are the remedies to come up for coliocosis, fibrosis, for maniacs, nephritics, frenetics, melancholics, demoniacs, asthmatics, and pulmonics, for carpacosics, tusculosics, gotosics, lepers, and galosics, for epistomasis, plagues and ulcers, and for every broken or fractured bone.
Give an enema, afterwards leeches, then purge the bowel.
That's what makes an answer. You surely deserve to enter into our learned group. With the kind allowance of the respected gentleman in charge, of the successors of Hippocrates, and of the whole circle with their eyes fixed upon us, I ask you, O aspiring colleague, a college graduate not unworthy of Montpellier, what are the remedies to be given to the blind, the deaf, the mute, to bancotics, clotics, and all the estropietics for problem feet, toothaches, afflictions, rabies, and the overwhelmingly great commotion in every newlywed?
Give an enema, afterwards leeches, then purge the bowel.
Really to our learned group.
The baccalaureate gentleman has marvelously addressed all these illnesses, but if I do not bore our most learned faculty and the entire company present in body and in mind, I shall put forth a question. Yesterday, a sick man fell into my arms, a person of status with coffers overflowing. He had a severe fever that is ongoing, a serious headache, and had pain and difficulty breathing. Please tell me, what should we do for him?
A difficult question, but from my experience, give an enema, afterwards leeches, then purge the bowel.
But if holding off from asking why, it can be surmised that the patient does not want to get better, then what should we do?
Give an enema, afterwards leeches, then purge the bowel. Purify, purge, and enema repeatedly.
I beg leave of you, sir, who are in charge of the select assembly of doctors, both practicing and eager to practice, and the curious flock of onlookers. Oh, so smart colleague, who so far could not be outflanked, I shall ask you one important question. Sirs, give us your attention. Quite early today, slightly before I had breakfast, a once lovely young Italian lady came to me. In fact, I still think of her as being somewhat a young girl. She was all pale-fleshed. The best doctors call it a white fever. She came complaining of a migraine, of shortness of breath, of feeling overburdened, of swollen legs and terrible weariness, of a pounding heart, and of a choke feeling, also called hysterical inhalation, which, like all illnesses ending in ick, concerned even the wisest of Greek physicians. She appeared worn out and looked as green as goose droppings, judging from her small racing heartbeat and the foul urine. She appeared not to be free of feverish bouts. Lastly, she was so weak that she came from her bed on horseback. Actually, it was a mule. She had been off of her cycle for quite some time, and she told me in my ear that it was a real marvel that she wasn't yet dead, because in her line of work, there wasn't much love, just too much heartiness. Her gallant cry had gone off to Germany to serve on a campaign for Mr. Brandenburg. So far, a bunch of charlatans, doctors, apothecaries, and surgeons have all worked in vain to cure her illness, going so far as the new influenzas of that dopey Van Helmont, using everything from crab eyes to alchemy. Kindly, tell me what's left in keeping with orthodoxy to do for her.
Enema, leeches, purge the bowel.
What? If such an enormous, mortally obstinate withering of the natural organs cannot be cured by giving it enema, leeches, and purging of the bowels over and over, 100 times over, what then would you come with? What would you do for her?
Order her, in the name of the blessed Hippocrates, to couple with a nice young lad.
Sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear to observe the statutes prescribed by the faculty with sense and judgment?
I do swear.
to have in all consultations the age-old advice, whether good or bad?
I do swear.
Never to resort to any remedies besides that of the resourceful faculty, lest a sick person should wear out and die of his illness.
I do swear.
With this venerable and learned doctor's cap, I give and grant you the power, might, and medical authority, plus the approach to take, namely, enemizing, purifying, purging, bleeding, ventilating, sacrificing, piercing, slicing, cutting, drenching, burning. In a word, in keeping with the procedures and of killing without penalty, not just Parisians, but anyone in the world, sir, express gratitude to these gentlemen.
Allow me, with just a word of my gratitude, to say thank you to such a learned group. To you I owe much more than to nature and to my father. Nature and my father made me a man, but you have made me a doctor, which is much more. Honor, favor, and gratitude that will definitely remain as a feeling in this heart forever.
Live a long life! 100 times let the new doctor who speaks so well live a long life. For 1,000 years, let him eat and drink and cure and kill.
May he just see his learned stipulations and fulfill the offices of surgeons and apothecaries. Live a long life. 100 times let the new doctor who speaks so well live a long life. For 1,000 years may he eat and drink and cure and kill.
Yes. May all of his years be good and favorable, and may he never grapple with plagues or epidemics that are evil beasts, but always pleurisy, pulmonus in the kidneys, vesicle lumps, 1-year rheumatism.
And all kinds of fevers.
Bleedings, diabolical gouts.
St. John's problems, Boido, colics.
Dutch scurvy, small and large boxes.
Good cankers and long brain problems. Live a long life. For 100 times the new doctor who speaks, live a long life.
For 1,000 years, let him eat and drink and cure and kill.
Enemas for everybody!